I'm Martine Geyer on the Red River in Winnipeg. Join us here on the Weather Network as we continue to provide you with 24-hour coverage of the flood of the century here in Manitoba.
I would have to say covering those floods in Winnipeg is one of the most impactful experiences I had while at the Weather Network, and the one memory that sticks out in my head is flying in to Winnipeg. And I don't know if it was because I was from the prairies, but it was one of those images that you can't forget and you wouldn't have understood unless you saw it in person. I mean, we had heard about the floods, we had heard about you know, what was going on in the city, but it wasn't until I saw those farm fields as far as the eye could see underwater, and it just had this huge lump in my throat and your eyes teared up. It was pretty powerful stuff, the devastation, to see it firsthand. That's probably the one strongest memory, is just seeing it from the airplane and just thinking, oh my gosh, this is something horribly tragic. But it was unbelievable to see water everywhere. Water. And houses underwater with just the little tippy top of the roof sticking out. Tragic.
I'll never forget when Andy Poplowski, our news director at the time, asked me to go to Manitoba and cover what would become the flood of the century. I'd lived in the Maritimes and never been out west, so really had no idea what to expect. We flew in and it was completely dark, and I didn't realize what the story was going to be, of course, until the next morning, when my cameraman and I drove to the scene of the flooding, and we were picked up in an aluminum boat. So we climbed into the boat and literally rowed to the house where we were going to interview this man. And I'll never forget seeing stop signs and street signs, just the tops of the signs, going by us as we rowed to this house. Literally, the water was that high.